Bonjour à tous, bonjour à toutes, c'est Night, j'espère que vous allez bien. On se retrouve aujourd'hui pour continuer What's Remain of Edith Finch. Et oui, on avait fait les histoires de Walter et de Gregory, c'était un épisode qui n'était pas très gai, hein, c'est vrai. On va voir si les histoires de Gus, Sam, Eddie, Milton ou Lewis sont un peu plus agréables à regarder. Je vous avoue, voilà, le dernier épisode, c'était pas non plus la grande patate après avoir joué. C'est des histoires assez glauques, hein, quand même. Hein. Eh bien, on va directement commencer avec Gus. C'était un poème.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Ah, il faut prendre les mots. C'est vraiment très artistique comme jeu.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Je sens que le gamin va s'envoler avec le...
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I remember.
Ah oui, les adolescents. Alors... Ah, c'est le totem qu'on a vu dehors qui était tombé.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
D'accord. Ah oui, d'accord. Tout va bien. Pas très poli.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
C'est stylé comme...
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Ah, j'ai du mal à aller là-bas. Ils ont vraiment pas de chance dans cette famille.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Encore un qui est décédé. Ok. Ok, bah Gus, bon, c'était un peu moins hard, on va dire, l'histoire. C'est un accident. C'est un peu moins hard pour Gus.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
D'accord, ok. Pas du tout glauque. Allez, on continue. On a déjà fait une histoire. Allez, hop.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
D'accord, donc là c'est la chambre de sa mère.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
D'accord.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Tu m'étonnes.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was
Ah,
used
tu
to
m'étonnes,
that.
vu tous les agrandissements qu'ils ont fait. Je sais pas s'ils ont déclaré ça à la mairie, hein, parce que là...
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Non, on peut rien ouvrir.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Milton.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
D'accord. Ouais, d'ailleurs, il y a pas sa date de mort, lui. On sait pas ce qu'il est devenu. Hop. On passe par là. Et on va découvrir l'histoire de Milton, je pense.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Stylé. Allez, il a pas la maison. Ça, c'est la jaquette du jeu, je crois. Allez, on monte. Stylé. Stylé, atelier. C'est vraiment joli. Allez, deuxième histoire.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Ah, c'est stylé. C'est un flipbook. C'est vraiment stylé. C'est Inception, c'est un steelbook, un flipbook dans un flipbook. Et voilà, donc Milton est parti dans ses œuvres en fait, tout simplement.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Écoutez, on va faire une dernière histoire, et puis ensuite on se gardera l'épisode pour la semaine prochaine pour le finish de cette histoire. Allez, c'est parti, on finit la prochaine histoire, et on se retrouve la semaine prochaine pour la suite de ce jeu.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Stylé en tout cas l'atelier. Je sais pas ce que vous en pensez, mais moi je le trouve stylé. On va monter par là. Hop.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Allez, on monte pour la dernière histoire. Non, on va pas monter par là. Il m'a fait bugger le jeu. C'est par là. Oh là, c'est stylé de ouf cette baraque en fait. Allez. Chelou l'ambiance là. Hein. Avec la chicha et tout là.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Dear Mrs. Finch, As Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
D'accord, donc c'est un toxico.
Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Allez hop.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
Allez hop.
His mind began to wander.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc?
I asked him to describe it.
Tu fais les deux en même chose. En
He
même
said
temps.
he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
D'accord.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names.
Tu m'étonnes. Il était fou un peu en fait.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously.
Stylé ce gameplay par contre, j'aime beaucoup.
I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Oh, c'est trop stylé.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery, I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis.
C'est le chemin de la rédemption en fait.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
J'oublie pas mon travail, hein, on peut le voir sur le côté.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery.
Il s'est enfermé sur lui-même en fait.
But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination.
Tu m'étonnes.
So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering.
Chelou cette
It
histoire.
became a game for him.
Trop stylé. Le Wistopia.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
C'est vraiment stylé comme gameplay. Hein.
He started drifting away from our reality.
C'est un putain de hippie.
Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, heart of Lewis kept sailing on.
Je travaille, maman. Laisse-moi travailler. Attention.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Une belle reine.
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
Allez, on choisit.
radiant
Ouais.
rainbows. He followed the sound of her
De sa guitare électrique, on va réécrire l'histoire, tiens.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Ça y est, on n'est plus au boulot là. Il est pas dans sa mémoire. Et dans son imagination.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
C'est vraiment stylé. On parle d'un chargement qui est tout bloqué, mais... Bah, c'est un ancien jeu aussi. Hein.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was
Tu
overwhelming.
m'étonnes.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me.
Oui, enfin...
It was hard to argue with him.
D'accord, donc là il rentre chez lui. Très gai les vestiaires en tout cas. Ça c'est son vestiaire, je pense. On dirait une Switch.
He began to forget the world we know.
Ça doit sentir bon dans ce genre d'entreprise.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
On va se tuer lui-même ou on va le tuer? Très frais ça.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him,
Ah, il va passer par la fenêtre?
even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Ouais, il était complètement taré quoi.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Merci. Merci. C'est sûr que c'est plus joli qu'une poissonnerie, hein.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown.
Madame la reine.
There was only one thing left to do.
Et là, il va se couper la main. Et ça va le faire revenir à la réalité.
Bend down
Ça ressemble à une guillotine, ça. Non, peut-être pas y aller, en fait. Non, peut-être pas.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
D'accord, donc il a passé la tête à travers, en fait. Tout va bien. Tout va bien.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Eh bien écoutez, on va s'arrêter là pour cet épisode-là. Hein. Il ne restera plus qu'à faire Sam et Eddie. Alors je sais pas si Sanjay et Sven, on aura des histoires. Je pensais vraiment qu'au niveau des branches. En tout cas, voilà, j'étais ravi de faire cette vidéo avec vous. On se dit à la semaine prochaine pour la suite et la fin d'Edith Finch sur la chaîne. Et je vous dis à plus tard. Ciao!